I'm Garrison. I'm a Team USA para powerlifter. I'm the first person to qualify from New York City to represent USA in the Paralympics in powerlifting. I'm number one in the country. I also have done a TED Talk. My TED Talk is called Life is Like Lemonade, where I speak how basically you take sugar, water, and ice and you can make a sweet, refreshing beverage out of a sour fruit. I started a not-for-profit organization called the Garrison and Jose Project, which I help individuals with disabilities with the proper assistance devices so they can achieve independence. I just wrote a book right here called Bobby's Adventure at a New School, where it highlights inclusivity, diversity, because that's something that's left out in the world. Kids don't know about it, so you got to start from the foundation because everyone is different. It's on Amazon. Yeah, definitely support. I'm from East New York. Actually, me and Julia, we was a part of the same crew growing up, but then the crew went left, so most of them. And I said I had to distance myself. So since I've distanced myself, I used to work at the IRS. I got my master's in finance. I used to day trade, then I started working at the IRS. And then one day I had an epiphany. I'm like, I'm too good. My qualities need to be out there in the world. I need to be helping people. So I stopped hanging out in the neighborhood, and I started just going to places where I could put myself around people that could actually help me level up and help me get to where I want to get to in life. And once I started doing that, it just took me to places I never could imagine. Like I said, I've done a TED Talk. I've been in 2 Google commercials, an Apple commercial, a McDonald's commercial. Tons of other podcasts, Muscle and Fitness with The Rock on the cover. And through that whole process, I noticed one thing, I wasn't hanging with my friends, and they wasn't the ones that was supporting me, they wasn't the ones that was encouraging me. It wasn't them, it was complete strangers that I never thought would take a liking to me, especially from the neighborhood I'm from. And when we grow up in our neighborhood, we don't know sometimes what's out there for us because we're not educated enough. Well, we haven't been educated that we could be certain things that we want to be in life. So once I started meeting people that's like, yo, you could do this, you could do that, I'm like, I want to do everything because we have capabilities that we don't know. It just takes someone to unlock them. True. So yeah, for years, I wasn't hanging around people, and then one day, another one of our close friends was like, yo, you and Julia need to link up right now. And this was a few weeks ago, no lie, it was 2 or 3 weeks ago. They're I run into Julia be doing his thing, I be doing my thing. I remember last year we were supposed to link, but with our lives, he's busy, I'm busy. But then my friend was like, nah, time is not. His brother's like, yo, G, y'all linking tomorrow. I called him on the phone, he called, we spoke. I'm like, no, I'm pulling up. And then we just had this idea, yo, we want to do a show. I'm like, I'm all for it. Anything I can do to empower our people I'm all for it. Because I want people to understand that you could be whatever you want in life. You don't have to be scamming on the block. You don't have to be gangbanging. That gets you nowhere. You lose your freedom. You devastate so many lives, not even your lives, but your parents, your people that you don't even expect is hurt by your decisions.
Right.
So with that said, even though I had an unfortunate incident because I was outside one day and I got shot. I didn't do nothing to nobody, but just being in my environment just caused me to get shot. And that can happen to so many people. So what I always tell people is this is an everyday thing. This is this is the real pandemic. The innocent black people. I won't even say innocent black men no more because it's innocent black women that's getting shot due to gun violence and things of that nature and losing their lives. And we gotta stop it. And if we could save one person, I feel like we're gonna make an impact in the world.
Yep.
So that's why y'all on the show today, because y'all got some impact and we want the world to know the impact that y'all have.
And that's true, and that's why I was I grew up with them. I actually grew up with these 2, black queens, and I know them for a very long time, and we reconnected with social media, and just seeing what you guys were doing with your lives is was so amazing. It was to me super dope. Dope has always been my word because I love that word. But it was just so crazy because it was for me, I'm always looking for inspiration. I don't know about you guys, but for me as an entrepreneur, I'm always looking to be inspired and be motivated. And for me, I get that energy through other people. So when I look at your page, I look at her page, and I see what they're doing. I see what she's doing with her beautiful child. That inspires me, right? It inspires me to be even better, right? And it moves me. So that's why for me, I'm constantly just looking at things and just looking at like, you know, what people are doing and seeing how we can like, you know, have a conversation and collaborate to help others, because I know that that's needed, especially in this time. Like for me, it's needed. You know, what we're doing right now is really needed, and that's why, like, you know, I told you guys, I'm thankful that you guys were down here to really take
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you for having us.
Respect what you guys are doing.
You know, especially with your platform, and
Definitely.
you know, I want to get into that. You know,
Yeah, let them know your names and everything, and you know what y'all do. You know.
Thank you for having us. My name's Stacy.
Mhm.
I am an air traffic controller, and this is my best friend of
Stacy.
20 years.
Yes.
Denisha.
Yes. My name is Denisha, and of course, this is my best friend Ace,
Mhm.
Stacy.
Mhm.
And I mean, during the pandemic, I took up baking. I mean, it was something I always liked doing, but you know, you had time off, the world was quiet, everything stood still for a little while. So I decided to just get into cupcakes and give it a chance.
I gotta
Cupcakes
clap
and
for
other
that.
treats. Thank you.
Because when people ask me about the book, I said it's a pandemic. I found I had time on my hands.
Right.
Everything was slow. Like I wasn't getting modeling gigs and things of that nature. And I wasn't gonna let that discourage me. I said it's a time. I have another lane, and let me just write something.
Absolutely.
And
I
look
like
what they
that.
turned into.
That's amazing.
Exactly. So right now it's like the bestseller on Amazon and disabled education, physical disabled education.
Love it.
So you know, even if one person read it, that's all I said. It's like it's gonna change the world, even if one person reads it.
First
So,
at a time, absolutely.
yeah. So
But yeah, I mean, so I guess, you know, I started like, you know, with some basic questions. Well, every question is going to be a basic question. It's just a
Basic.
question that,
Okay.
you know, it's about entrepreneurship. It's about, you know, one of the things that, you know, the reason why him and I, you know, created this platform was to really, you know, talk about entrepreneurship and connecting it with like mental health, right?
Okay.
Connecting it with like, because that's a big thing, right? I know for entrepreneurs, like, you know, if your mental health ain't right, how you gonna be a boss? Right? How you expect to inspire others if you not mentally, you know, there? So for me, you know, I want to get into like the whole like why you started baking, right? Especially, you know, I know her, you know, and we had a recent conversation about, you know, what she was doing with her platform, and you know, what made you get into that platform that you're doing, and on top of that, why I remember you were telling me that, like, you know, you wanted to educate others and give them exposure on that. You know, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. Before I get into that, you guys are talking about where we're from and, you know, reaching out to others, and I do commend you both
thank you.
on
Thank
this
you.
beginning
Yes,
journey.
thank you.
And you know, Denisha and I, you know, growing up, we knew where we were from, and we knew we wanted to do more. And literally, it was like a conversation. We're on the phone one day, and we're like, "Yo, you got your passport, right?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got my passport." You know, we're back and forth. We're like, "Okay, we need to go. We need to go on vacation. We need to go somewhere." Literally,
Keeping in mind we're from the same place.
absolutely, East New York. And yeah, we're both family. You know, our family are both from Jamaica, so you know we're definitely familiar with the islands. But we're like, okay, we need a place to go. We need just something to explore. And literally, our first vacation together we were like 20 years old.
We were 20.
We went to Turks and Caicos.
Oh, nice,
And
nice.
yeah, it was just like we were Googling stuff and like, yeah, let's go here. I never heard of it before.
Never.
You're like, let's do this.
You see that?
And you know, we were 20 years old in Turks and Caicos and having a ball. And this was before, you know, social media platforms such as
Right.
Instagram and how things blew up. But other things with us, you know, people are so attractive, but we're so humble about it. You know, humility is big on our part because we like to do stuff, but you know, it's just our thing. And but now that social media has blown up and you know people are such great influencers and travelers, you know, we didn't really bite that bullet, but you know, I do commend a lot of Black people traveling and just taking that passport and just
I
going.
agree.
That's a fact.
A lot of people haven't been outside the 5 boroughs.
And especially where we come from.
Yeah, I would
Right?
definitely encourage people to travel though.
Absolutely,
Definitely.
100%.
One of the things that I love about traveling is that it helps you. For me, like that's a space for me where like I can just relax.
Yeah.
It's like
I
a
don't-
restart.
Right? It's like
Yeah.
I can just relax.
All the
And
time.
it's just like you getting away from everything,
Yeah.
right? And it's like just taking a trip to Florida, right? And going out there and just like, you know, just being able to like not think about anything. It means so much. And for me, like, you know, I've been to Jamaica once, right? Montego Bay. I loved it. And you know, my mom's from the Dominican Republic and my father's from Honduras. So never been to Honduras, but I have been to Dominican Republic, of course, right? I've been to Panama. I've been to so many places.
That's one of my favorite.
Right, I've been to so many places.
Okay.
But let me tell you this, man. Traveling
Is great.
it's a thing where you can get your mind right. I tell people all the time, travel, just travel. I guarantee you'll be more like relaxed when you come back.
I'm telling you, we've been.
It's like a high. It's like a high.
2020. We haven't been on a plane.
Right. You know,
2019.
taking.
You went to.
No, that was early. That
I
was
went to
before we shut
South
down.
Everything shut
You know, I
down.
took my son to Disneyland.
Yeah.
But you know, the biggest thing about traveling for us is wherever we go, we communicate with locals. Like we're not a person to stay on the resort or we want to get into the towns. We want to take the local
Y'all
bus.
want to meet the regular people.
We want to meet the
I know
regular
what you
people. We
mean.
want to see how it goes.
Get off the resort.
You know, it's just what we do, and experiencing other cultures is so big on our part. You know, because we're from Brooklyn and we know how we do, but
Exactly.
how do they do out there?
Right.
How you know how
What's
things
the
go?
food out here?
Yeah, when we went to
What's the
Greece,
party
it was
scene?
like great. Like we just a whole different culture.
Travel at least twice a year, 2 to 3 times a year.
I encourage everybody to. I actually try to travel like every 3 months, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I love
Exactly.
that.
Every
Exactly.
quarter,
I
like, you
love
know.
that.
The reason being is because I'm a competitive power lifter, so like with that said, it's a lot of stress on the body.
Okay.
So sometimes I just need that time to
Absolutely.
just recover, stay away from people, not answering my phone for a few
Oh,
days.
yes.
People don't understand that we so glued these days to electronics that it plays with your mind. It takes a mental toll looking at that screen
I
all
agree.
day. So
Definitely.
whenever I go on vacation, especially if I go somewhere like to an island, and even if it's a business trip, I try to take at least a day or two and just stay off my phone,
For
stay
yourself.
off the computer, and just
Yeah.
sometimes just look at the ocean.
Absolutely.
Look at the sea or whatever.
And that's one of the things. Like I've been, you know, like every time, you know, I'm traveling, I make sure that I go by the ocean.
Yeah.
So great.
I'm a Cancer.
It's so great.
I'm a Cancer.
I'm a Cancer. So I don't know. I'm addicted to water. So it's just like, you know, like every time I'm near the water, I feel like peace, right? And one of the things that I really wanted to really practice was learning how to be at peace with myself, right?
Right.
Because one of the things that, like, you know, I always tell people that, like, you know, we're so addicted to like what the world thinks of us or what people think of us,
Agreed.
right? So what I started doing, especially in 2020 when the pandemic happened and everything, was really getting to know myself, right? And I started really thinking about like, I started doing a SWOT analysis, like a SWOT, right? I started thinking about my strengths, my weaknesses, right? And what are the threats in my life, right? And one of the things that I was able to do, I was traveling during the pandemic, so I mean, I don't want to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I was traveling too, man. I don't know about that.
I was traveling.
I'm glad
I had a mask on, I was
I
safe.
had my mask, I had my COVID test before I got on the plane. Yeah.
But
I just couldn't do it though.
when I was out there, like, you know, going to Florida, I went to Dominican Republic, to Florida, and when I sat down, I was near the ocean, and I was noticing that, like, all right, people are doing what I'm doing. I met a lady who was out there, she was doing the same thing. She was just like, you know, I lost a family member, 2 family members during this, you know, this pandemic, and she was just like, I'm trying to like be at peace with myself.
Yeah.
Right, and it was so like beautiful because it's like, okay, like I'm not the only one that's practicing this.
Right.
So I feel like, you know, I'm happy that I'm able to, like, you know, get up every morning. You know, I thank God for that. You know, I'm still alive and I'm able to see different places, right? And really, like, you know, just get, you know, the mental, right? And really like take care of my physical health, my mental health, and making sure that like I'm in tune, you know, with the world, and making sure that, like, you know, I'm mentally there, because if you're not there, like, you're gonna lose yourself. And that's why I tell, you know, the young generation is like, practice your strengths, focus on your strengths before anything, right? You know what your weakness is, turn that weakness into your strength. Because I know that, like, for me, like, I have a lot of weaknesses, like, you know, as my son is my weakness, right? Like, I'm a big, like, you know, when he wants something, I'm making sure that, like,
Give it in. Right.
you know, and
as you should.
you know, and for me, like, you know, he's that healing for me, right? Whenever I'm going through something, whatever, like, he's that healing for me. So, you know, it's a weakness, but I turn it into a strength also. So, you know, that being said, I guess the next question for me, you know, since you guys love traveling and everything, it's a beautiful thing. You know, you got into baking, right?
Yes.
And I know a lot of people especially, you're a creator, right?
Right.
We all are creators.
Exactly.
And for me, traveling, and this is why I want to include traveling with this, because when I travel, I get to write. Writing is my passion.
That's your therapy right
Very
there?
therapeutic, yes.
Writing has been like that thing for me. Like I just write a poem or I write something because I love reading. I love reading and writing. I became addicted to it.
Mm-hmm.
But when I travel and I go to different places and I see different food, different cakes, I'm in love with this type of stuff too. Like I love cupcakes. I'm surprised I'm not even big. You know.
Right.
Yeah, I can't eat that stuff.
I love cheesecakes. I love cheesecake. All that stuff like I really love, and I love like thinking about it. And I every time like I write about it. So for me, traveling and seeing different things, seeing different food, different cultures, I write about it. So for you, right? What made you, want to become a baker, right? And why? Like all of a sudden, like why did you want to do
Right.
it?
So like I said, I've always loved baking since before, but I never got into like trying different things with baking. It was literally just what you see, you just make it from the box and you keep it going, right? But one day during the pandemic, like I said, it was quiet, and then I was on YouTube and like a Halloween thing came up, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna try to bake some cupcakes and see if I could try my hand at some of these Halloween decorations. And I did, and it turned out so nice. And I was like, oh, maybe I could try this a little bit. And you sample it. You have to sample it first before you try to get something. Have other people tell you how they feel about it before you try to promote yourself. You know what I mean?
That's
You
good
always want
advice.
to get you always want to get indoor first. Your family is always going to keep it real with you.
Exactly.
So you definitely want to try them first. Some of your closest friends, you try them too, And everybody's out there, and I was like, oh, really, I should get into it, I'm trying. It's like another income during the pandemic time. Yeah, try it. I tried, and I've been getting orders. Of course, it's like friends and family that support at first.
But that's where it
because
starts.
I didn't have like an Instagram page.
Exactly.
So back to what you were saying, you get lost in Instagram, but I'm like, oh my God, I need to have so many followers.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, but I'm not as interested in the followers as I am the customers.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Those followers ain't gonna support you.
Some followers,
And you gotta-
And that's the thing that I had to
You
learn.
got followers, but if they're not, helping you with your
Yeah.
business,
How
what's
they
the point?
helping you?
Exactly.
How do you turn those
How do you
followers?
leverage that?
No, I'm not as interested in the followers as I am the customers. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I have friends and family that's gonna repost me and share my post. So eventually somebody will come over and be like, oh, can I get an order? I have a birthday coming up or whatever like that. Yeah, so I'm not as crazy about the followers anymore.
Okay.
All right, so my question is, how do you manage being an entrepreneur in your daily life? Because I think a lot of people have a trouble with time management.
I'm just discovering that.
See, yeah, it's very difficult.
Because in my head I'm thinking, I'm like, oh my God, I have another order tomorrow. I have another order Saturday. And I'm like, I have like 7 orders next weekend. So I'm still trying to time manage.
Okay.
It's tough, but I write everything down in the notes on my phone since we're always on our phone. So I write everything, like I plan my orders out on my phone, it's in my notes. So I
Okay.
have it with me on a daily. If I'm going here, I'm checking it to make sure. If I'm going there, I'm checking it to make sure I'm updating it, everything. So right now I'm still working on time management. It's a struggle.
That's key.
Yeah, because I know that's one of the issues I had with managing my time when I started getting like what we call lit. I'm like, I got these people hitting me up to do a commercial. These people want to do a podcast. I still got the organization I'm working on, and it was just so much, and it started to become overwhelming. So then I had to really like start thinking about like how I'm gonna do everything. And what I realized is I couldn't do everything. There's stuff that I said, you know what, Garrison, this is not gonna work for you. You're just gonna have to let it go. Because we typically overextend ourselves because we feel that we need to do everything in order to get to where we need to be. And I realized that less is more. Sometimes in life, less is more. So now like I only do things that will really benefit me. Like if it's something like a podcast about whatever and they want me as a guest, I'm like, I'm not going on it. It has nothing to do with what I'm trying to promote, what I'm trying to achieve. So I think that's one of the ways I worked on my time management by stop overextending myself.
So you're saying it's okay to say no to something?
You have to.
You don't have to do everything.
You're gonna have
You
have to.
That was one of the hardest things for
To
me.
say no, right?
To say no. Like I struggle with that. I really struggle with that, and it's a hard thing. But for me, I'm inspired, and moved by like people's stories, right? And I know we grew up together, right? We all have a story to tell.
Right.
So for me, what I'm really inspired by is the fact that, like, you know, you are from Brooklyn.
Right.
You know what the struggles are in Brooklyn,
Right.
You know the ups and downs. You know what it takes, right, to get to the next and push forward, right? How do you like encourage a young female right now who's, you know, stuck right now trying to figure it out for herself? Because one of the problems, right, that we noticed, I was just talking to somebody probably like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he was telling me that so many people, he was speaking to a lady that basically she's the one that handles the application for LOCs.
Mm-hmm.
And she noticed that a lot of people put in LOCs, but there's never no execution, right? And that was big for me. Like when he said that, I was like, what, like really? And he was telling me this is a big, he was like, I'll show you the data.
That's a social media trend.
Right.
A lot of
Yeah,
people
you
say
do it
start
just to do
LLC,
it.
start LLC.
And it was mind blowing for me because it's like, okay, you got your LOC and
Now what?
now what, right? So for me, you worked on your execution.
Mm-hmm.
You actually did it, right? You did it. You saw what you was good at. You used it, and here you are creating it and coming up with like, you know, I want to make sure that I can
Yeah,
show
you
it.
gotta show this, man.
You know, but, you know, this is what you've been able to do.
You might have to take a bite or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking like, yo, this is creative. Like, you look at that, you look at the Hershey's, like, you know, you use creativity in these things, and for me, you know, the question I was trying to get at was like, how did you do it, right? Because that's what a lot of people are missing out on, like, and that's why I try to, like, you know, use my platform to really help people. Like, look, this is how I'm doing it. I'm giving it to you for free,
Right.
right? So you better get on it
Don't
before
like
I start changing, before I start charging people,
Right.
So for me, like, how did you do it, right? And you know, how do you, you know, give that young girl, that young you, right? I say young you because it's a young you coming up in junior
Right.
high school,
Right.
or even in college, right? That are trying to, like, you know, get their things together, right? How do you give them the knowledge?
Make sure you want to do it. You get what I'm saying? You have to.
That's powerful.
Okay, so I could
That's
make
powerful.
this now and then tell people, I'm selling a box for $20 or whatever the case may be. Then I get 20 orders and I'm like, I don't even want to do the 20 orders. I just wanted to, you know, so make sure you want to do it.
Yeah.
Make sure you're in it for the long run. You get what I'm saying?
Long-term game.
Right.
Long-term game. That's what I say.
And don't let anyone discourage you.
Oh, yeah.
I got a lot of, well, there's a lot of people making cupcakes and there's a lot, okay, and we all gonna do it different. She's doing something different, he's
Yup.
doing something, and I'm gonna bring something different to the
To the
baking
table,
business.
exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Don't let nobody discourage you. That's the
Preach.
biggest thing. Everybody is doing something.
You know, yo, you touching what I was just talking about the other day. People say, oh, you know, why start a coffee bookstore or coffee company when, like, you're gonna be competing against Starbucks? I'm not here to compete against Starbucks. I don't know what Starbucks is doing.
Okay, I'm not looking at
So, like, for
Starbucks.
me, that's no disrespect to Starbucks. They've been able to accomplish so much, and I actually salute them. But I'm not in competition with them. I'm not thinking about what Starbucks is gonna do. One day when I went to, I was actually in Florida not too long ago, probably like a month ago. You know, when you go to the airport, what's the first thing you notice when you get to the airport? Rental companies, right? But they're right next to you. They're right
All
next
next
to each
door.
other.
Alamo.
You ever realize they're all right next to each other?
Oh, yeah,
They-
budget.
They're all right next to each other, so it's like, okay, we all eat.
And they all have a different niche. They
And
all have a
and they're
different
all doing
market.
different things. So, like, you touched upon something that was so.
People that come back and ask you
Right.
That's
for
what I tell.
advice and how to do it.
Yep.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I tell people that all the times, like, stop looking at what celebrities are doing and focus on your life. You know what I mean? Like, it kills me when I see, you know, people's Instagrams and you see them with like 500, they're following 500 people. And it's a whole bunch of celebrities they're following, and they only got like about 50 followers.
Yeah, a friend or family.
Yeah, and what they giving,
Yeah.
like what type of substance
I'm
are
like,
you
how is that
getting
helping
from?
you? How is that helping you? You think I'm sitting there watching what Kevin Hart is doing, or me watching him living his life? I'm worried about my life.
Some people are literally on social media just for that.
Yeah,
But
and
social
that's-
media has become a platform to make money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And how are you utilizing, you know, your talents, because we all got gifts.
I
We all
agree.
have it.
I
We
agree.
all have gifts. And I knew what my gift was when I went to college. When I went to college, I was like, oh shit. I knew that I had a gift for memorizing things. Nobody helped me with that. I had to figure it out for myself. I was like, oh shit, I can memorize things. I started passing exams. I went to graduate school, passing GRE, all that because I knew I could memorize it. All I needed was somebody to study with and somebody to break it down for me.
Yeah.
Right? So if I get a Sharon to sit next to me and break it down to me, I'm gonna memorize everything she's saying and I'm gonna go to the exam and I'm gonna ace it. So okay, that's a gift, right? Nobody's gonna teach you that. So I learned that. Now I'm trying to give it to other people, right? Who may be struggling with what I went through when I was young, because nobody gave me that. And then the second thing I realized was my mouth. I was like, oh shit, I got to get the gas. I was like, oh shit.
Right.
And I never paid for a book when I was in college. I never paid for a book because I had females the reason why I love females, I'm successful because of females. Right? People used to call me you a womanizer. How am I a womanizer? Because I realized that women are givers. Women are people who really care. They want to see people, they help people.
Yeah.
Men are haters. Right, but some men look at you because you know what it is. We have this pride,
This stigma.
We got balls, right? Like, I'm a man.
Yeah.
Who are like we got that like that? Who else? Like who
That's
you?
what the thing, right? Exactly.
Right, so you got that mentality. So for me, it's like, you know what? Let me not go next to you because you're gonna look at me as kind of somebody. You know, so if I get next to her, me and her, we're gonna talk. We're gonna get into the spaces and we're gonna collaborate. And I took advantage of that, and I started like, yo, can I hold your books to make sure I pass this exam or your book? And it became that, and I became successful. So for me, it's like I always tell people, like, you know, understanding what you're good at, like you just finished saying, it's very important. Like understanding what you're good at, and then on top of that, you know, understanding why you want to do this.
Right.
Right, and make sure you're in it for the long term. Like, don't look at it like
today.
I'm just trying to get it back.
I just got tomorrow.
And I got one order, so I'm gonna take that money and I'm good. No, keep it going.
Oh, that's what I
If you
hate.
get one order, you gotta figure out how to get 2 orders.
That's
And
what
then
I'm
from 2
saying.
orders, let's get 4 orders.
Be sure you want that one.
I hate it. I really hate it. You know why? Because people don't understand what struggle really means. They might think they understand what struggle is, but they don't really know. You making a sacrifice. You're making a sacrifice. You got to take time to do this. To put, you know, the art in it. Like you have to take time. And it's all coming from a thought. So for me, I'm like, okay, like I want to sit next to her because like she has something I'm inspired by.
Right.
So one of the things that I hate what people do is that when they don't see, like, you know, when it's slow in the beginning or it's like they're not taking off. You know what? Let me go focus on the next thing.
Let me go to the next
Let me go to the
task.
next task. This is not working.
People don't see things through, and I like that you made that point because when I was 6 years old, I was playing baseball, little league baseball, and I couldn't hit the ball for anything in the world, and I wanted to quit.
You're over it.
And my father said, if you quit now, you're gonna be quitting at everything in your life, and I can't let you quit.
Sure.
And I had to finish the season. I didn't have a good season, but I finished the season. And ever since that day, I never quit at nothing. Anything I start, I gotta finish.
That's
I
why-
have to.
You know what? And that's the part of like when you say no. Because once you say yes, you're like, okay, I'm committed. My yes is commitment, so I'm gonna see it through.
Exactly.
See it through.
And then people see like the chair, and you know, I have a physical disability. It's visible. Everybody can see it, and they wonder like how you do so much. And the reason why I do so much, and that's what I'm trying to encourage other individuals with disabilities to do, is to stop taking no. They're not gonna make a ramp for you in front of a store if you don't even want to go in the store, or if you don't want to go to the restaurant. So why would they make a ramp for you? Why would they build an elevator within a big time restaurant like STK or something, or make it accessible if you're not even going? So that's the thing I said. I said I'm making my duty. I'm going to everywhere I want to go, and I'm not taking no as an answer. And ever since I started doing that, my life changed, and I started helping other people's lives to change. And now other people's like, see what you do, Garrison. I see how you just went to that store and you told that owner, you gotta let me in. It's discrimination. This is civil rights. It's not even 88. It's civil rights. I'm entitled to go into any entity like anybody else. So with that said, you know, there's times where I had to file lawsuits against places, and I won those lawsuits. Yeah, and I won those lawsuits. Airlines, everything. I won those lawsuits. And what people always said is like, they're not gonna change. No, they have to change.
You're right.
And And it's like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. If y'all don't go out there to make a change, then how is anything gonna change?
Sure.
And that's one of the things that, I had to learn. Like, I knew that there was something bigger for me. If something so bad could happen to me at 17 years old, God doesn't make mistakes, so God is gonna definitely give you the guidance, and He gives His hardest battles to His toughest soldiers. So that's why I got to where I'm at today. And then now I'm trying, like I always tell everybody, my goal is to win a Nobel Peace Prize, and after I win that Nobel Peace Prize, I'm gonna be mayor of New York City, and I'm not stopping until I accomplish those goals. And once I created that vision for myself, people ask, how did you get in this? I have a vision. This is a part of the plan.
Right.
This is just a stepping stone. So they're like, no, I'm not excited about, things I accomplished. I am grateful that I accomplished those things, but it's bigger than me. So like everybody's like, when you make it to the Paralympic Games and win a gold medal, what you gonna do? I says, that's not the point, winning a gold medal. The point is to change lives around the world for individuals with disabilities. And if I could do that, then I accomplished my goal. I want to be more like Muhammad Ali than Michael Jordan. Because Muhammad Ali stood for something. Michael Jordan, you just know for his sneakers and sports. Muhammad Ali said, no, I am not going to the Vietnam War because of what goes on to African American people in this country.
That's why I love this guy.
So it's the same thing. And
without mind behind it, I was telling Sharon this the other day, like, it's like this guy, man, like, he inspires me, man. Like, I'm sitting there in the back of my mind, like, this guy, like, every time he picks up the phone, he just has this passion. It's like, yo, what up, bro? Like, that's exactly. He's always like picking up the phone with like this.
I answer,
And I was telling Sharon, like, why is this guy just like,
everybody asks me that, why you wake up so happy every day? And I'm like, God gave me a chance.
I'm sitting there like, yo, and I'm like, and you see like,
and you want that energy, sometimes
there's
people
people
need
that
that.
be in his circumstances depressed.
Yeah.
He didn't allow nothing to get in between his life, and that's why I'm so moved
And
by
this
it.
happened to me at 17. So I had an opportunity, and you know what it is? It's my mom, and I really thank her every day because of how she just gave me that fortitude. Because when I was in the hospital day one, she looked like, this is what it is. This is what the doctor said. It's gonna be hard, but nobody's gonna feel sorry for you. You got your whole life ahead of you, and you got 6 months to go to school like everybody else once you get out the hospital. So don't think like you're gonna be laying in the bed feeling sorry for yourself.
Exactly.
So when she put that, gave me that mindset, and just like, I had no time to feel depressed. Only thing I had time to do was to get myself to a point where I'm fully independent. And then from there, my thing was just to go to school, get a degree, be the first person in my family to graduate like she wanted, and to get a job. And then after that, I realized it was so much bigger because I seen like how people treat disabled individuals. And then I'm like, you know what? It's an oppressed community, and I'm from the hood. I'm like, nobody gonna treat me like that. Like, you ain't gonna tell me what I can and cannot do. I'm telling you what I could do, and that's that. And I remember I had an advisor in college, and she's like, yo, maybe like might as well just take the regular curriculum, like four classes full time, and whatever. And I'm like, 4 classes full time is gonna take me like 4 or 5 years to get out of school. Why would I do that? I'm giving the school money. Somebody's paying this right here. So I said, the first semester she gave me my courses. It was 4 courses. I said, all right. The next semester, I said, I'm not going to the disability advisor. I'm gonna go online and select my own courses. So I took 6 classes 1 semester, and then 2 like in the intersession. So that was 8 classes for 1 semester.
Right.
And my GPA was like a 3.8 for taking those 8 classes. But I realized, like, if you take classes all within your curriculum, you're just learning the same thing just from different angles. So you're just applying the same information So with that said, I was able to graduate in like 3.5 years with no issues, you feel me? And it was because of me, because I said, I'm not gonna let them tell me what I can and cannot do. I know what I could do.
And that's what I was saying, like, he brought happiness into my life, because I'm like, this guy's super positive, man. He's scaring me.
Super positive, scary, right?
This guy, man.
And it scares a lot of people.
That's what I'm sharing. That's like, what's wrong with this guy? Like, you know what I mean? You got issues going on?
Nah, I'm not gonna lose,
So for me, like, that's why I'm inspired and moved by him, because it's like, it's all mental.
It's mentality.
It's all mental. And if you could train yourself to like, tell yourself, I got this, you could take over the world. Like, and that's why for me, like, I'm inspired by him. So that's why, like, you know, we started this, and
And
we want to make sure
our
that
goals are in line. So it's like
we got everybody
Yeah,
there too.
I did
Everybody.
the same thing.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because I was, like I said, I was doing things, and for me, you know, we were doing things. He was doing his thing, I was doing my thing. But like I said, I was still dealing with like trying to figure it out mentally, right? And that's why like I wanted to incorporate the whole, you know, mental health.
Yeah.
Because, you know, for me, like I started eating right, I started eating better. Like around the summer of 2020, I took my health and wellness very serious. I started drinking smoothies. I started drinking smoothies. I started, you know, just eating like, you know, tomatoes and lettuce and
And it makes a difference.
stuff like
Yeah,
that.
and make a conscious decision to do
And I
that.
started really like, okay, I got this. And then, you know, slowly but surely, like I got there. I got to this point where like, okay, like I'm mentally now, I just gotta focus on the mental health. And every morning, like meditation, like just sitting down for like at least 30 minutes and just thinking and just like closing your eyes or whatever, just listening to something, you know, that inspires you.
Right.
I do these things and I do it because like it helps me, you know, go out into the universe with a positive instinct. And that's why I tell people, like, whatever you put out into the universe comes back to you.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
if you're putting out positive,
You only gonna get positivity. That's it.
positive energy, and look who came into my life and we're doing this. Like, look at you guys. Like, I'm like, this is what I look forward to.
Yeah.
This is my happiness.
So my question is, where do you see you 10 years from now? Where do you see the cupcake business
for
going?
both of you
For
guys.
both of you. 10 years from now, where do y'all want to be? Because we gotta put it out there. We're gonna put it out there
Well,
right
I
now.
wanted
Manifest it.
I wanted to point out, I mean, you mentioned about planning.
Yeah.
I think planning is very important from, you know, from the bottom to the top. You know, you make big plans, you make short-term goals, big term goals.
Long-term goals.
Yeah,
all
so
that.
from 5 years, 2 years, 5 years to 10 years, like you're making that planning, you're gonna succeed. Because, you know, you plan and you create that goal for yourself. Even when she started talking to me about the cupcakes, I'm like, all right, well, are you serious? She's like, yeah. And I'm like, all right, we need this, and this, you know.
Oh,
Nice.
yeah,
I was like,
she went crazy.
I went crazy. I was like, okay,
And
you're
I
gonna do
felt
this. I'm
so
confident in you.
overwhelmed.
I'm 100%.
And that's what you
Yeah,
need
that was
sometimes.
the
Just
thing.
one
I
person,
felt
a little
overwhelmed,
support
though.
system.
She's like, wait a
I
minute.
really wanted to wait. Yeah, I
Yeah,
felt
it's
so
cool.
because she just
Once I
came
heard the yes, once I heard her say
You
yes,
on
I
that.
was like, all right, let's do
came
this.
and laid, and I was like, oh my
Let's
God,
do
do I
this.
really want to do it? It made me second guess. Oh my God, she just laid.
I was like, no, you just said yes.
And then I was like, you know what? Doesn't even matter. I want to do it.
I did her first promotion, like, you know,
Yeah.
promote her business, and she started getting orders. I'm like, okay, you
I
ready
was like,
now?
and this was before Instagram or anything.
Okay.
She just promoted.
I used to,
the
you know, my best friend is
cupcakes,
making
and she
cupcakes.
was like,
ACEY10.
Okay.
That's my personal Instagram page. But yeah, I welcome anyone who has questions about this industry. And like I was telling you about your son, I want to hopefully meet up with him and have a discovery flight, you know, take him on an airplane and have him fly it, you know. There's such a good network of the black community in the aviation industry. I know many people that are flight instructors that would love to take young children onto a plane for their first time and actually fly, you know.
that's beautiful.
And you know, I think it's the first step.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
But you do have to appreciate everyone from the pilot who people know to the little people that fuel the pilots, or, you know, the people that, you
Fuel
know.
planes and all that.
Everything.
Plans.
It's all so connected.
It's so connected.
Yeah.
It's so appreciated.
And it's important. They're important too.
Yeah,
The
Absolutely.
very important.
plane don't fly without fuel.
Yeah, yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean? Safety is number one in the industry. You know, safety, airplanes are the safest travel, you know, right now.
I don't know about you guys, but I'm afraid when it's thunderstorms going on, we up in the air. Oh, shit.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, it goes into a lot. Whether it's a major factor.
It's scary. It's scary.
Yes, but
So, like,
navigation and
I just came back from California not too long ago, and when I came back, it was like scary because it was raining and you saw lightning.
Turbulence.
And I'm like, yo, what
everywhere.
if something happens?
I feel like we came back in like a snowstorm.
Oh yeah, of course we did.
I think we came back from Jamaica. It was like a snowstorm. We came into Jamaica, you know, we circled a bit because there was traffic, there was volume, but we circled and, you know, we landed safely because there are operations that are clearing the runway of snow. They work 24/7 just to make sure that the runways are cleared so that you can land.
De-icers and
The
all
icing,
that, right?
there's no icing in effect in the wings, and, you know.
And that's the most powerful thing to me. Is like, how everyone has an important role to play when that plane comes down. Because at the end of the day, it's my savior. I'm you know, you're in control of my life.
Right.
I have no control when I'm up there in the air.
Different type of appreciation for pilots.
So that's why I appreciate, you know, your platform, because it's like, that's an important thing.
Yeah.
We want to fly, but we're not thinking about like
all the parts that go
parts
into
go
flying.
into it.
We're
So
just thinking about, we're gonna get to our destination, we're gonna snap these
Even the
pictures.
people that ski off the birds and all of that, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's important too.
I used to do that.
See, I know a little bit about it, 'cause you know it's funny, there's this adaptive flying program that I was thinking about joining, because I want to be a pilot one day, and they got like adaptive hand controls like I have in my car to fly planes. They do it out of MacArthur Airport.
Yes, okay.
And I looked into it, but there's a whole lot of other stuff like the
Absolutely.
birds. That's very important.
There are airports that are certified, you know, federally certified 139 part. They have to have a wildlife hazardous program. And in that program, there are people such as USDA Wildlife that comes out and we literally shoot birds.
I heard.
You know, I own a shotgun license, a rifle and shotgun license.
Seriously?
Yes, because, you know, at the time I was doing operations, I had to shoot birds or anyone in the vicinity, any bird in the vicinity of the airport. You know, just so that they don't get sucked into the engine and you don't have another incident like, you know, Sully who had to land in the Hudson River, you know, because the goose or the geese, you know, got into the engine. So there's that.
All right. Well, thanks for educating me on that. And then leave her alone, because she can use a rifle and shotgun.
you might want to be smart with that.
Sister's license to carry.
And it's hard, even in New York, you know, New York City, to even own such
A weapon,
such
yeah.
a permit. Not
Unless
even a
you-
weapon,
yeah,
it's
exactly.
a permit. So
Exactly.
it is a vigorous process.
Exactly. But you know, I want to thank you guys for coming down.
Yeah, thank
I think to me
Yes.
the cupcakes were amazing.
Thank you.
You have a beautiful craft going on, and this is
Thank
gonna
you.
this is gonna be big.
This is gonna be
This
big.
is gonna
Oh,
be big.
thank you. Thank
And
you.
we glad you came on the show before you got too big, when we can't get in contact with you and all that. When you stop answering DMs, you know, like, new number, who this? So we thank you for coming on, and you know, we applaud you ladies for what y'all doing out there.
Thank you.
And it's appreciated, because you know, everybody's gonna see this, they're gonna just instantly gravitate towards y'all.
Yes.
And there's gonna be so many people y'all gonna inspire and impact that you don't even know. So I'd like to thank y'all once again.
Me too. And
Thank you.
I know them personally. I went to junior high school with them.
Oh yeah, we
And,
go way back.
You know, we go way back. And these, you know, when I saw what they were doing, I was inspired. So, you know.